Hi, church. I've been listening on Audible to a book I read a long time ago called Christy. It's by Catherine Marshall, and it is the story of a young school teacher. It's kind of based on her mother's life. It's the story of a young school teacher who goes to Appalachia and teaches in the backwoods area there, and of the lessons she learns as well as her teaching the students. And in the part that I was listening to recently, the kind of missionary lady there had been talking about the Bible with a group of women. And one of the women made this statement. She said, "You make the Almighty seem come-atable. You make the Almighty seem come-atable." And I thought that was just such a great phrase of the way that this woman had been talking about God in such a way that was winsome, in a way that made him seem approachable. These were people who thought of God more as that kind of angry man up in heaven who was just looking down, waiting for them to do wrong so that he could zap them. And she was talking about a God of love who knew that they did wrong things, but still loved them. And it reminded me of the story in John 4 of the Samaritan woman that Jesus approached at the well and asked if she would draw water for him, which culturally was strange on a number of levels. One, he was a man talking to a woman. Two, she was a Samaritan and he was a Jew, and there was animosity between those groups of people. But as Jesus talked to her and began to tell her things about herself that she thought nobody else knew, she began to realize that he was the Messiah. And so she went back to the city, inside the city, and she told her friends, "Come and see a man who has told me all the things I have done." And her excitement, her invitation to come and see, her making Jesus come-atable, caused other people to come and follow him. And I think that's a great challenge for us as believers, that we would make God come-atable. That when we tell our story, when we tell how we have come to Jesus, when we tell the impact that a relationship with Christ has on our lives, that we have the opportunity to make God seem come-atable, to make people understand that he is welcoming, that he is loving. And that should be reflected in how we are. When we talk to people, they should feel like we are come-atable, not just because we're great people, but because we have the Holy Spirit indwelling us, because we have God's love pouring out of us. So I would encourage us today, as we interact with the people around us, are we putting a roadblock? Are we making God seem distant? Or are we causing God to seem come-atable? Because God says to us to come. Just as that woman said, "Come and see." Let's be saying to our friends and neighbors, "Come and see. Come and let me tell you about the God who loves you, a God who does great things, and a God who wants to have a relationship with you."